After giving birth to our seventh child, I pretty much spent 2.5 weeks either on the couch or laying in bed, being brought food and coffee and reading, and then reading to my son. But now that I'm approaching 3 weeks postpartum, my bleeding has dissipated. That's really why I was having to lay down so much, as I tend to have really heavy, kind of concerning bleeding, but it's really improved. And so it's time to kind of get up and rejoin the world, rejoin family. So I'm starting out just by doing very gentle things. Like my husband is carrying up the laundry and I'm just folding it, and I'm wearing the baby in this little wrap for the first time. This is my very favorite carrier. It works really well on the front and the back. I always wanted to be the mom who could like wear those really the solly baby wraps, that seem like so snuggly and cute, but I can never quite figure out all of the positioning. I just felt like their head was like leaning kind of backwards. So I really like this one. I can put the link in the description box. I think that you can get it from Pottery Barn Baby. I think I ordered it from Amazon at the time, but it's not available last time I checked. But I really love it. I feel like the baby is so snuggled and comfortable, and I think it was made out of like a linen cotton blend. So in terms of breathability, it's as good as you're going to get. But right now it's June in Ohio, and if it's really warm outside, the baby's still going to get warm. So I just feel like I need to keep an eye on that. Like we can't go on long walks with her in the wrap outside because it just gets too hot. And then while I was convalescing postpartum, our raspberries started to bloom. So we just live in the suburbs. We don't have a lot of land or anything, but we planted raspberries a couple years ago and some strawberries. And my goodness, this is the best return on investment that we possibly could have made. We ordered these raspberry slips, I think they're called. I'm not 100% sure, but we ordered them online, but you can buy them anywhere. Costco sells raspberries in the spring, raspberry plants. But these are like organic raspberries, and we pick like big bowls full of them pretty much every day. And we got a couple different varieties, so it seems like when one variety is producing, then the other one is getting ready to produce, and then when that one's done, then we go back to the first one. So it's really fun to pick a bowl of raspberries, and they're really pretty low maintenance. You do kind of have to give them a little bit of support because they want to fall over, and we might have them too densely planted. But what also is really fun is new volunteer raspberry plants keep popping up, and they'll kind of migrate outside of the raised bed. So we dig those up and give them to any friends who are interested in growing their own raspberries. So it's kind of like the plant that just keeps on giving. But if you thought about the cost of organic raspberries at the grocery store for our family, we could go through a lot. And so I feel like we save a lot of money growing our own. The strawberries, we keep getting these beautiful red strawberries, but we've got chipmunks who crawl in and they take just one little bite. I find that's probably what's the most infuriating, is they take a nibble out of all the strawberries. They don't just eat one completely. They want to ruin them all. So anyways, we're trying to figure out what the solution is for the chipmunks. If anyone has any suggestions, I would be very excited to hear them, because it's always so exciting to see a beautiful deep red strawberry and then you go pick it and then the other side has been eaten. So the one that was in the bowl, that was one that escaped the chipmunks unscathed. So we've got kind of chicken wire up, and then I pulled one side down and climbed in to do a little bit of weeding. We had some grass encroaching from our lawn, and so I was trying to get some of those weeds pulled up just really quickly. It felt super good to be outside. This was the first time that I had really been outside since our baby came, except for just here and there very briefly. So it felt good to get outside and just kind of feel how the weather had become so nice, and just get a few things done in between nursing and eating and drinking and taking naps and all of those other very important things. And then I also feel like I had such good memories of picking like peas out of the garden growing up. When I was little, we didn't always have a garden, but I remember thinking it was so much fun. Just it almost felt like, I don't know, magical to just be able to eat straight from the garden. So the kids have been having fun. I love looking out the window and seeing my 10-year-old son just like popping raspberries in his mouth and then going back to the swing set and playing. And then I had ordered some new doormats for our 2 back doors, I think before the baby came, and they've kind of just been hanging out in a package. So I felt like today was the day to finally open that package up and just put them out at the 2 back doors. The kids are in and out so much with their friends, and it's good to at least get like the first layer of grime off of their shoes before they come inside. I feel like with muddy shoes, you know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I'm always trying to think, how can we prevent muddy footprints? We do ask the kids to take their shoes off when they come inside, especially if they're tracking in dirt, and most of the time that happens, but sometimes even just like there's kind of like too many people at the door all at once, and so you kind of have to walk farther into the room in order to let the people behind you to come in the door. So it's good if you can get that little layer of dirt off. I ended up ordering these from Amazon, as you can tell from the box, and they're a little bit wider than what I typically see, which I think is good. Kind of spans the width of our little stoops at the back door, and I feel like that just, you know, it leaves more square footage of cleaning available for lots of little shoes to help take care of them. That old one I think we've had for like 10 years. It was no longer serving its function, so I'm just putting this one by the back door. And then here are some seeds that I started in strawberry containers that we got from Costco. I think those are the lace flowers, and then these might be the straw flowers. I think those are the straw flowers. So I'm hoping that I get these planted, but it's already a few days later and I haven't yet done it. This is foxglove. I grew this from seed 2 years ago, and it'll come back for 2 years. So I'm also hoping it will self-seed, and then we'll just keep getting more, because I think foxglove says English country garden more than almost anything else. I think it's just such a cheerful kind of little flower that is really hardy, and the deer don't like it. We have a deer problem in our neighborhood, and they eat everything. Like, I haven't even gotten one single blossom from my hydrangeas in the last couple years because they eat them as soon as they start to bud. Now, this is not Roundup. You'll notice that on the container it says Roundup. I inherited this from my grandpa, who probably did use Roundup. But I just have kind of like a really potent vinegar, and it really works well. You spray the vinegar on the weeds in between your pavers, and then by the next day they're like all shriveled up and brown, and you can either just kind of let them kind of wither and die, or you can pull them up. But they come up a lot easier when they're dead. And then we're working on washing hair. She was not enjoying it so much, so we pretty much just washed hair, gave her a little rinse, and then I can do other body parts in another time. I feel like with little newborns, you just gotta keep the bathing short and sweet, and she was not into that, so we didn't linger in that process. And then I've been getting like night sweats, and I was like, oh, my hormones. And my husband's like, oh no, I've been sweating at night too. And I realized it's probably because we still had our big fluffy duvet covers inside of our duvet inserts inside of our duvet covers. So I pulled all the duvet covers out of all of our beds, and I'm putting them in these vacuum bags, and then I just like suck all the air out, and they shrink down, and then I can store them until the fall. And then we just use the duvet covers as like a lighter blanket, so we don't switch out bedding for like lighter quilts or anything, just because we're really maxed out on storage. We have 8 people living in our house. We've got children from newborn up to 18, and so we just don't have a ton of storage, and so I like to just use what we have. And then since I was eating in bed, someone, probably not me, but it was definitely me, spilled dark chocolate all over the bed. So I figured once I was out and about, it'd feel good to get our bedding washed and put back on. So that did feel very good. Nice, clean, fresh sheets, and that duvet cover felt really good. Although I'm still getting hot at night. And I'm not sure what our thermostat is set on for the evening. I feel like, I don't know if anyone else does this with their husband, like my husband turns the thermostat up, and then I turn it down, and then we just do that a little bit back and forth. But I don't know. I've been hot at night still, even with the duvet insert out of our duvet cover. My husband is still on parental leave. That's what they call it at the place that he works, parental leave. And so I'm really just trying to take advantage of, like, when he wants to hold the baby, just getting a few things done. Or, you know, if the baby's sleeping, try to get a couple things done. But I'm definitely trying to get naps when I feel like I need it. And that's something it took me a long time to figure out, is that I used to blame everything, like being really emotional and like close to tears or getting irritated. I used to think that was all just postpartum hormone changes, and I know that that plays a role and that's part of it. But what I finally kind of figured out is that if I'm like feeling extra emotional, probably what I need to do is take a nap. So like when there's an opportunity, when my husband's available and I can feed the baby and then give her to him, then what I need to do is I need to go upstairs, lay down, turn the white noise off on my phone, turn the fan on in my room, put a pillow over my ear, and then just sleep. And sometimes I experience this feeling of being wired, like the baby's gonna wake up soon and I need to feed them, and it's hard for me to wind down. So something I found important is, even though time is precious, when I have the opportunity to nap, sometimes it's really helpful to just read a couple pages of a book that I keep in the drawer of my bedside table. And that's something I do at night too. And I just kind of like calm down. I'm like, well, you know, if she does wake up, then I'm just gonna feed her and we'll handle it just like I have all these other nights. I don't need to work myself up over it. And so that's kind of a tip that I've finally figured out. I think I figured that on child 5. So I hope that that helps you. And then here I'm making homemade Reese cups for my dad. The chocolate layer is just chocolate and peanut butter melted together. The peanut butter layer is powdered sugar, peanut butter, and salt. And I really like to make the peanut butter layer kind of like extra salty because it contrasts really well with the very sweet and rich chocolate layer. So then I stick these in the fridge and let them harden up, and then I'll put them in a bag and put that bag in the freezer. And then you can eat them at your leisure. Although at my house, there's really no point in putting them in the freezer. I just keep them in the fridge because they get devoured within, you know, a couple days, because who doesn't like Reese cups? I still don't feel like I've really figured out with our little newborn baby how to nurse discreetly yet. I still am like really relying on the My Breast Friend support pillow, and I feel like I need to use 2 hands. So I haven't been doing too much, you know, social nursing, being out and about, but I know we'll figure that out. We always do. It's just we're not there yet. But I really appreciate you watching this video. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.